Hey guys, this is Niyi. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about support and resistance, how to identify them, how to draw them properly, and the misconceptions around them. So when you hear the word support or when you hear the word resistance, what comes to your mind? So for better illustration of what it means, let's say we have a boy in a classroom having a ball in his hand. He throws the ball up, and the ball reaches a certain level, and that level is the ceiling of the classroom. What tends to happen when the ball reaches there? The ceiling tends to reject the ball from going through. Yes, you are right. Reject the ball from going through. So what that ceiling basically did was it rejected and changed the direction of the ball. So we call the ceiling resistance. The ball was thrown up by the ball. Then it got to the ceiling of the classroom. The ceiling stopped the ball from going through it, changing the direction, which means it resisted the ball from going through it. Good. So when the ball comes back on the floor, what tends to happen? The ball comes back on the floor. It reaches the floor. What happens? The floor tends to bounce off the ball back to the upward direction. So what did the floor did? The floor supported the ball in heading back to the initial direction, which is the upward direction. It supported the ball in heading back to the initial direction of the ball. So that is what a support means, and this is what a resistance means. So let's imagine the ball was thrown at the ceiling. It came back to the floor. After the floor supported the ball in heading back to the initial direction, reaches the ceiling, breaks through the ceiling, and gets to a certain point where it loses momentum, drops back on top of the ceiling. What tends to happen there? The ball tends to head back in the initial direction. Remember, it was a resistance. When the ball broke through it, it came down and bounced on the ceiling. Then the ceiling supported the movement. So in this analogy, this basically explains what a resistance equal support means. The boy threw the ball up. The ceiling of the classroom rejected the ball from going through. The ball came to the floor. The floor bounced off the ball, supported the ball in heading back to the initial direction. Then the ball broke through the ceiling, then lost its momentum, came down, bounced on the ceiling which was the resistance earlier, bounced on it, then continued the initial movement. So basically this is what it means when you hear the word resistance turn support. When you reverse the scenario, we have a support turning resistance. This movement, we're having a downtrend. The movement was down, then it got to this particular price. What happened when it got to the price? The movement was rejected at that price, causing it to go in the opposite direction. Then again, it reaches this particular price in the opposite direction, then it reversed and continued to the initial movement. So when we use the basic that was taught the other time, this is our resistance and this is our support. Here is why. This is our resistance because it opposes the initial movement, causing the movement to change entirely. This is our resistance. Then when the market got to this price supported our initial movement, reversed the market to the initial movement, which was the downward movement. This is our resistance and this is our support. So for an upward movement also, for an upward movement, we had the market going up, then reached this particular price. It was rejected from this particular price by the sellers. Then it got to this particular price also. This price supported the initial movement, which was the upward movement, then continued the movement. So this right here was our resistance and this right here was our support. Resistance, support, resistant, support. It rejected the movement, it supported, assisted our movement. So how to draw them? To draw our support and resistance, we draw from the body to the wick, from the body to the wick. This is our support and from body to the wick. This is our resistance. Remember earlier I mentioned something called resistance turning support. We have an example here. This was a resistance. It stopped the overall movement of the market. Stopped the movement of the market, reversing it to the opposite direction, and this particular price supported the movement back to the initial movement. Then it broke through that resistance. It got to this particular price. It was also rejected. This particular price rejected the movement. Then it was reversed to this opposite direction. Then it got to this previous resistance, where the first movement was first rejected from, then that particular price, that area supported the market to continue in the initial movement, which is the downward movement. So this area here is a resistance equals support. So for the upward movement, sorry, I'm going to delete this guy. I don't know why it's not deleting. Okay, I've deleted it. So remember, the market was moving upward, then it got to this particular price. It was rejected by the sellers, so we'll mark it out as our resistance. Then beneath it, remember I talked about the market got to this particular price, then the buyers came in. It got to this particular price, and it supported the movement of the market. So this part is our resistance. So we can also see here that after the market broke through this resistance, it got to this point, it came down from their price, sitting on the previous resistance, broken resistance, using it as a support to continue the upward movement. So this is also a resistance turning support. I hope you get me. So what are the misconceptions in support and resistance? The misconception of support and resistance tends to happen when the support and resistance is drawn on a lower time frame. When it is drawn on a lower time frame, the tendency of that support or that resistance being effective might be or will be low. So that is where the misconception of support and resistance not working out comes in play. So to avoid that misconception, we have to draw our support and resistance on the higher time frame. You can draw from the 4 hours, from the daily. That is why I recommend 4 hours on the daily to draw your support and resistance from, to avoid any misconception of it's not working for you or the levels are failing. You draw from the higher time frame to avoid that. Now we've come to the end of the video. If you find this video helpful, do where to like, subscribe, and turn on your notification as to be notified anytime I drop a new video. Till next time, bye for now.